Denaturalization is a very scary topic for a lot of people. So today I just want to talk a little bit about this to help put some people's minds at ease. So the main provision that allows for denaturalization is found under 8 USC 1451. If you want to just know generally what the provisions of this are, ask your favorite LLM or ChatGPT to summarize what the key provisions of 8 USC 1451 are, or just watch the rest of this video and I'll do that for you. So for those of you who don't know, my name is Darian. I'm an immigration attorney located in New York, and I handle immigration cases nationwide. So if you ever need assistance, you can find my consultation information in the video description below. Naturalization has been around for a long time. In the 1950s, after the Red Scare, denaturalization has been around for a long time. It's not a new phenomenon. In the 1950s, during the Red Scare, there were many people who were denaturalized, and then it kind of died down for a while and then saw a resurgence in 2004. Between 2004 and like 2016, I think there was something like 150 cases where people were denaturalized. And then between 2017 and 2020, we saw a major jump in the number of people who were denaturalized during Trump's first term. Something like 228 denaturalization cases were brought in the federal courts to strip US citizens of their citizenship. And during that term, the Department of Justice actually created its own denaturalization unit, which was later dismantled by Biden, and denaturalizations continued, but they weren't like dedicated to stripping people of their citizenship the same way Trump was during his first term. Now it seems like a lot of resources are being put back into denaturalization. So what should you be worried about? The primary way in which people find themselves in denaturalization proceedings is when they've materially omitted some key information on their naturalization application, or they intentionally engaged in fraud or lied. And that fraud did not need to necessarily take place on the naturalization application. It could have happened anywhere in the chain of immigration benefits that led to naturalization, whether it was the tourist visa that you used to enter the US, the green card application, or your subsequent naturalization application. If they find you engaged in fraud somewhere along the way, it is possible that you will find yourself in denaturalization proceedings, but it's pretty hard for the government to denaturalize someone, and the Department of Justice can't just do it by themselves. They have to file an action in federal court. You have an opportunity to respond and contest it, and then ultimately it would be a federal judge who would strip you of your citizenship. One of the questions people commonly ask me is, if I commit a crime after I'm naturalized, can I be stripped of my citizenship? And the answer is usually no. Almost always no. It wouldn't be just because you committed the crime. But there are some provisions in the law that allow denaturalization for example, joining certain groups that would have prevented your naturalization within 5 years of becoming a US citizen. For example, if you join a Nazi party within 5 years of becoming a naturalized citizen, that could actually be the basis for denaturalization. And a less commonly used provision, especially nowadays, this was a big problem in the 1950s after the Red Scare. If you're subpoenaed to testify before Congress within 10 years of naturalizing and you refuse, you could technically find yourself in denaturalization proceedings. If you did not engage in any fraud along the way, you never materially misrepresented anything, you never materially omitted information during your process along the way to become a US citizen, you probably have nothing to worry about when it comes to denaturalization, and you could just ignore all of the news that's coming out about this. The situations where we see people getting denaturalized are usually extreme scenarios like war criminals, like someone was a Nazi and then he fled and never disclosed his prior crimes. After becoming a US citizen, he might find himself in denaturalization proceedings. Or, it doesn't need to be that extreme. You could have committed any crime abroad, the US never found out about it, and then now that you're a citizen, they find out about it and realize you lied every step along the way about having been convicted of that crime abroad. That's an easy way to find yourself into denaturalization proceedings and to be stripped of your US citizenship. But most other people who've never lied or materially omitted anything have nothing to worry about when it comes to denaturalization. And one final and somewhat related note, a lot of people right now are afraid of naturalizing, applying for US citizenship. They think they could find themselves detained when they naturalize. Most of these fears are overblown. We're still naturalizing people every day. So if you're interested in applying for citizenship and you want to know what risks might be present for you personally, be sure to schedule a consultation. I would love to speak to you about your situation and give you an honest assessment about whether you are likely to get approved or have immigration problems if you apply for naturalization. If you're interested in finding out more, you could always schedule a consultation with me. My information is in the video description below. If you're new to the channel and you want to learn more about changes to immigration policy under the Trump administration, or just tips and tricks for family-based immigration and naturalization, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time for another video.